Hi and good morning. I wanted to talk about in this upload, some truths about the Earth's magnetic field and this current reversal that we're in. Just briefly before we do, big thank you to Philip, Catherine and Marla who made a contribution towards the observatory yesterday. Again, as I said in that video, 1,000 people will watch, but out of that 1,000 people, only a couple will choose to donate, and that is just the way things are. This isn't a very important topic to a lot of people, even though I feel very compassionate about the topic. And for me, I understand a lot of the implications that the poles are causing during this reversal to the Earth and how they're affecting us. But for a lot of people, they don't simply understand it, and there is a lot of people, I would say 90% of people, or even more than that, but as a safe figure, 90% of the people on this Earth don't even know that the Earth is currently going through a magnetic reversal, despite even organisations like the European Space Agency, NASA and NOAA and other organisations that are very well known are aware of it and publicised it. And they've did it in a manner which is to try not to cause too much alarmism. And we get different people, who come onto our channel on YouTube, visit the website. They've got different levels of understanding with regards to what's taking place during this magnetic reversal. Some people have been following me for quite some time on YouTube, and have been with me for probably 7 to 10 years, and they've learned a lot about the Earth's magnetic field and how those reversals affect the Earth and in turn ourselves on the Earth. But it's very difficult to get everybody on board with a single understanding, and a lot of people, which I completely understand, simply don't want to hear bad news, and that's perfectly understandable. They don't want to know that there could be such severe consequences in the not too distant future that could affect the way humans on this planet conduct their business, as well as other diverse biospecies on the planet, how that can be affected, which should be mentioned because pole shifts inevitably cause a series of problems, and the particular one which I think a lot of people will associate and know about is the extra inbound cosmic radiation. And as a direct result of just the radiation that is inbound, we know that cancer rates will go up, we know it will affect cardiac arrhythmia, and it may even affect the mental cognitive thinking of human beings. So there could be some mental effects as a result of a pole's reversing. Let's face it, all our bodies contain atoms which are electrical in nature. There are forces that hold electrons to atoms, and they do align with the magnetic poles on the Earth. So if the reversal happens, that could be something that affects the anatomy of our body. It's just not very clear cut as to what happens and the reason for that. The last one was 780,000 years ago, and there's no recorded data. Human beings have only been on this planet as far as the historical records show us 42,000 years. This was a point in our history where Neanderthals, which according to Darwinism theories, where we evolved from Neanderthals to human beings. I got my own views on that. I don't think human beings did evolve from Neanderthals. I don't think Neanderthals evolved from monkeys and apes either, over thousands of years of evolution, but I could be wrong on that. That, I think, is another subject for debate. But the point is this, is that these organisations are fully aware and know what implications the magnetic poles reversing on our planet can cause. They're already aware of what the South Atlantic anomaly does. This is that region on our planet. There's a little diagram there, a little picture of it in blue, where the highest intensities are in pink. But that region there, can cause trouble for satellites and high altitude aircraft as they pass over that region, because there is less protection in that region of our Earth. This is one of the regions where we're trying to get our magnetometers out there and our muon detectors to measure the levels of increased radiation in those regions at surface level. So, I understand, basically that people in some circumstances don't want the duvet pulled off them and exposed to the cold. In other words, they don't want to know the truth and the true implications of what we are about to face on this Earth as a result of the poles reversing. But it's not just related to health of the biodiversities of life on this planet across the range. It is also related, and there are clear signs now that it is affecting and driving the climate into a position where the jet streams have been altered already noticeably in the last 30 years. It's not just the changes in the jet streams that are really of concern, it's what happens after they have been modified. We have changes in seasons, and as a result of those changes in seasons, it affects the ability for us to grow crops in certain regions, because those regions become unpredictable because of the unpredictability of the climate. And we have never at a single point in the history of humankind had a couple of things, and I don't think it's by coincidence, I think there is synchronicity in this, but we have never had things come and merge at the same time as what they have done. And what I'll just briefly explain those are, is first of all, there has never been so many people on this planet. We are getting close now to 8 billion people, and that requires a lot of logistics, a lot of planning, to get crops in the ground, get them out the ground and then distribute them to where they've got to go. We're really reliant this day and age on, bananas coming from Africa, oranges coming from, America, coffee coming from, various places around the world. But the point is that we have a logistics system that's set up so that when we go into the supermarket, there is a complete full range of all these products from all around the world, and they're all fresh for us to, take advantage of. And, this pole reversal puts all that at risk. And, there are a lot of implications that haven't been discussed by the mainstream organisation, and clearly there is an inadequacy of information coming from these organisations, especially let's talk about the ESA. The ESA rarely release anything above level 2, and it just so happens that the level above level 2 information is the information that we really want. We want the live data on the magnetic poles, and you have to ask the question is, how can we have live data from satellites that monitor the sun from the front and the back at the same time, which are updated daily, if not on the every other hour? How can we have all the other anomalies that we can see, like live satellite footage of jet streams and everything, but we can't get access to magnetic data? Why is the magnetic data so closely guarded and kept secret? And I think the reason for that is because the implications of the changes that are taking place are so dramatic that at some point, there is going to be some catastrophe, probably related to, the poles reversing on our planet. A lot of people don't have a lot of interest in the topic of the pole reversal, of what is taking place right now, the magnetic poles reversing on our planet. A lot of these organisations certainly aren't making the information freely and available for us, and we are left with speculation on YouTube on some channels where they use data that has been released at lower levels, albeit, and then regurgitated on YouTube, and these people proclaim to be the experts on these matters. We took a different approach here at the observatory, and tried to use the scientific method. And what we've done is we've put magnetometers in the probably most important regions of our planet, so we could monitor what was going on. And it is almost, I have to admit, sometimes like watching paint dry. Even I have to admit that. But I'm glad sometimes when the data doesn't show very large discrepancies from month in, month out. Although saying that, the TriMag system that monitors the position of the magnetic North Pole, that is at a resolution of every 3 seconds, does show us over a period of time a steady and progressive pole migration. We can track that to within almost an accuracy of a couple of miles every month, and we are seeing an average migration of around about 4 miles every month. And we have some theories, but the main point is that none of it is speculation. It is through the equipment that we've built, spent a lot of time developing, and I hope to continue developing it as we get closer to the point of possibly greater changes that what we've already witnessed and saw take place. Great changes, when they do occur, we will be obviously in a position to notice these changes on the equipment that we've got in the field, and by using that scientific method we will at that point be able to note the rate of the changes, and therefore predict or forecast future development with regards to those changes. And at that point it becomes useful to you guys, and it really should be useful to you guys right now, because I don't think any of us want to see these dramatic changes start taking place. Even though we know that they're inevitable, we don't want to see these changes taking place, because when they do, if what's happened over the last 30 years gradually with our climate and the changes that have took place over that time, could you imagine within months a rapid change and the increase in velocity of the catastrophes that could be related to that? It is in my view, and I'm probably more passionate about this topic than a lot of other people, it is in my view a serious matter that we should be paying more attention to than what we already are. And I think it's a massive shame that 90% of the population of this planet are completely unaware about the pole shift. Probably those 10% that are aware of it are too frightened to engage more in learning more about it, because that's just the nature of those people. And then you've got the people that are switched on, and we're probably talking about 1% here. We've got 1% of the people that are switched on. They know the implications that it's causing, and they want to stay informed as to those changes when they happen and how frequently these changes are happening. It is, in my view, and has been for a long time, the most important anomaly that humanity has ever witnessed and has taken part in. We are, as I say, and I've said before, very lucky in some respects to be witnessing such an event, because the last event that took place was 780,000 years ago. And the exciting part about this is there's no recorded data, and nobody really knows what will be the implications of the poles reversing. We can only speculate, because there is nothing to go by. The data that we collect is at high resolution. If it is an event that we experience in the next couple of years, at least we will have a full record at high resolution of how things progressively change slowly to the point of where the reversal took place, and then we will monitor afterwards how things begin hopefully to get back to normal if they do. The reason why I say that is because if you've been following me, one of the things that has intrigued me about this pole reversal has been the 500,000 year delay on the average pole reversal. In other words, the poles as we know it used to reverse, according to the records that we've got, every 350,000 years or so. This time, an extra 500,000 years has passed before the Earth has completed a pole reversal. So, we have to ask the question, is something slowing down in the core of our Earth, and could it lead us to a point in the future where we end up losing our magnetosphere like Mars did? Mars had active volcanoes, which it no longer has. It had a magnetosphere, which it no longer has. It had an atmosphere, which it no longer has, or has very little, and it had water on its surface, which now can only be found in the poles in ice form. You know, could this happen to our planet? Well, there is nothing to say that it can't. And are we in a situation where those circumstances could threaten, as did Mars, our Earth? The answer is yes. And are the chances increased this time round? I think the answer has to be yes again, because of the delay in the reversal of nearly 500,000 years. Our planet is changing. It's a game, if you like. And I think for this reason, we can't compare any other magnetic reversal to any other, because of the simple fact it has taken longer to go through its reversal. Excuse me. So, I think I'll end it there. You know, this is an important topic. I hope you gather that. And we are going to be finding ourselves in situations where only a few people, contribute to the observatory. I mean, I did read some of the comments that was there yesterday in the description. I'm never going to answer some of these comments because they're not on the same page, simply. They ask ridiculous questions. They make horrible allegations. They're very wicked and easily tempered people by the fact that, if you look at how many people thumbed down that video as opposed to how many thumbed it up, you get the impression of, the sort of people that we're dealing with, even on this channel. I just wonder how they get on in their normal daily life, if this is how they respond on social media sites. But that, again, is what happens when you deal with the public. So, I understand to a small amount of people that they share the same importance and the enthusiasm to the topic. They understand where we are and they're interested into how things progress from this point on. And I think that they would agree that this is probably the best source of information on YouTube on this topic of the pole reversal. And we've tried to, with the website, include a few other anomalies and keep people informed with the data that we've collected from our own equipment as to how things are progressing with this. So I'll end it here, guys. I will mention the link down there. Maybe another 3 people might come forward and pledge a little bit of support for the observatory. Who knows? But look at the numbers. 1,000 people watch, 3 people support. It's painfully crushing, and it has been something that we've had to manage with for the period that we've been on YouTube. The very little bit of support when there could be a lot of support and we could achieve a lot more, but the slow flowing of revenue for the observatory means the slow flowing of equipment out into the field. And this is at a point in time when we're getting close to possibly the event taking place. If anything, you think people would be pouring cash into this now, because certainly the governments aren't pouring the information out on the topic to the general public. Maybe they know something. Okay, links down there, guys, if you want to help support us. Big thanks to those that have. Big thanks to our patrons. Big thanks to our superstars that got the magnetometers. And keep your loved ones safe. And I'll say what I usually do. As always, bye for now.